2000, I received a radio clip in Chinese. It was an interview with this writer who was a dissident writer. He was imprisoned after the Chinese government cracked down on the students' protest movement in 1990. When I heard the story about this writer who became homeless and then how he interviewed these people on the streets, I felt like what a great idea if I could translate his book into English so let Americans know what real China was. The Chinese government right now have started a systematic cover-up of part of the Chinese history, and so not a lot of good nonfiction works in China. All those good works that they really depict what happened in China during the past 30 years. They're published either underground or overseas. So I have made a personal mission to translate these nonfiction works because they will really help ordinary Americans understand what is going on in China. The most important part to me, the challenge is to capture the flavor of the writer. To capture the colorful language of it, I just have to do a direct translation to make it more understandable. For example, in China, there is a girl, she felt like she married a man beneath her. So, and basically, if we use standard English, we just say he was her mismatch. They didn't marry somebody beneath her. But in the Chinese phrase, she said a phrase that, "I'm like a flower planted in a pile of cow dung." So this is very vivid in the dialects. Do I find American just to explain the meaning of it? Say she married somebody beneath her. Or do I introduce the slang? So I felt like it was important to introduce them, and because you can see, the readers can see the colors of the language. I am going to read an excerpt in Chinese from this memoir written by Wang Dan. He was the top leader of the students' movement in 1989. And then after Chinese government cracked down on the movement, they imprisoned him and sentenced him to 15 years in jail. And then he managed to come out, leave China, and then he now teaches at the University of Taiwan. 靠西边的只有一个水泥的洗水池，安有自来水水龙头。你洗水池到门口的墙角只有一个坐式搪瓷马桶，没有马桶，门有2个道。 外面是一个道木门，足有1道厚。我记着在年轻的时候，曾经读到过一个捷克作家叙述他监狱时候。In 1989, in the spring of 1989, when the movement started, I became a very active participant because for us, that was our moment. We read a lot about. Democratic ideas and ideals. We felt like it was the most important event in our generation. We also had these heroic ideas like, you know, the Thomas Paine, the most famous word we all know, give us freedom or give us death. And you know, we were so inspired by the idea, ready to say if the government shoot at us, we'll march together and then to take the bullets like heroes. The Tiananmen Square incident, as it is known in the West, happened 25 years ago. I can't believe that happened 25 years ago when I was a student of journalism in China. At that time, I had more hair. All I had was a toothbrush and a jacket with me. And I was in Beijing. I went to Tiananmen Square and participated in the demonstrations. We asked for the government to engage in political reforms, and also asked them to open up the press, because we felt like independent press is key to the democratization of China. Everybody knows on the 3rd of June 4th, the government sent tanks and the troops to China. Hundreds of students and residents, they were killed on the night of June 3rd. And after the crackdown, and then the Chinese started a nationwide brainwashing movement. All the students like us will have to pledge to the party, and then to pledge loyalty to the party, and also we have to abide by the Communist Party, their policies. We have to obey the orders. So it was a very, very depressing moment for us, and we felt like was there any hope for China?
除非提审，连哨兵也不许打开门。后来我常想，如果发生了地震，我们根本就没有办法逃到外面去，屋里四面也都是白墙，显然是新粉刷过的。在广场上绝食静坐的时候，曾听说过当局为了做好镇压的准备，已经腾空了几座监狱。为此，北京科学大学10几名学生向前元帅家询问的时候，他们遭到断然否决。现在看来，至少秦城已经提前做好了接待我们的准备工作。
In those days, through translations, we read so much about America, about the West. We felt like we want to go to the Western countries to learn about democracy, and someday we would come back and change the country and change this country as 1/4 of the world's population. That's how in 1990 I was admitted to a university over there, and I came and studied journalism. In China, there's a phrase called "a calf is not afraid of the tiger." Meaning that when you are young, you don't have a lot of other considerations. When you feel excited about something, you just go for it. And then in those days, when I came to the United States, in China, they only allow you, we didn't have a lot of money either way, they only allow you to bring $40 with you. So when I came to the United States, I sold everything I had, and then packed everything in 2 suitcases, and then got on the plane, bought a ticket and got on a plane. When I arrived in Springfield, Illinois, I didn't know what that was. And then they told me that it was the hometown of Abraham Lincoln. So that's all I knew. When we got here, and then we have $40, what are we going to do? So the next day, I went to Kmart and bought a shirt, which cost $12. And then I had a pair of black pants, and then I started working at a Chinese restaurant. And that's how I left China. You know, looking back, it's kind of, it's a little scary thinking, wow, you're 25 years old, you have 2 suitcases stuff, you just arrive in a totally new, different country. But right now, if you review that part of your personal history, it's the most exciting part of my life. It was the part that you were able to think, I want to start a new life, and you are not afraid to leave home, you just go. Because that important step of leaving home, I think will make me a much more adventurous person, make my life much more interesting.